What's up, everyone? Welcome back to CodeMechanic. So, what does P0507 actually mean? It's pretty straightforward. Your car's brain, the engine control unit or ECU, is telling you that the engine is idling faster than it's supposed to, instead of that smooth, quiet hum you expect at a stoplight. You might be hearing the engine revving up on its own, maybe sitting at 1,000, 1200 or even 1,500 RPM, when it should be closer to 700 or 800. What are the symptoms you'll notice from the driver's seat? The most obvious one is that high idle we just talked about. It can be constant, or it might fluctuate, surging up and down. This isn't just a noisy inconvenience. Because the engine is working harder than it needs to, you'll probably see your fuel economy take a nosedive. You're literally burning extra gas while you're standing still. Some drivers also report a rough idle, or that the car feels like it's trying to lurch forward when you have your foot on the brake. In some cases, it can even make shifting gears, especially in a manual, feel clunky and, of course, the trusty check engine light will be glowing on your dashboard. Now, let's get into the why. What causes this problem? In my experience, the number one culprit, especially on these German cars, is an uninvited guest. Extra air. I'm talking about a vacuum leak. Your engine is a sealed system, and it relies on a precise mixture of air and fuel. When there's a crack in a hose, a bad gasket, or a leaky intake manifold, unmetered air sneaks into the engine. The ECU sees this extra oxygen from the O2 sensors and tries to compensate by adding more fuel to maintain the right ratio, which in turn jacks up the idle speed. Another very common cause is a dirty or failing throttle body. The throttle body has a plate that opens and closes to control how much air enters the engine. Over time, carbon and gunk can build up around this plate, preventing it from closing all the way. Even a tiny gap can let enough air through to cause a high idle. Sometimes, the electronic components of the throttle body itself can start to fail, sending incorrect position data to the ECU. Other potential causes include a malfunctioning idle air control valve, or ESC valve, on older cars, a faulty PCV valve, or even issues with the electronic sensors that measure airflow and temperature. But more often than not, you're looking at a vacuum leak or a throttle body problem. So, how do we diagnose it? Let's play detective. The first and most effective tool for finding an air leak is a smoke machine. This is a pro-level tool, but many shops have them. It pumps a harmless, visible smoke into the intake system. Wherever the smoke comes out, that's where your leak is. It's the most definitive way to find those sneaky, hard-to-see cracks and hoses tucked away deep in the engine bay. If you don't have a smoke machine, you can try the old-school method of carefully spraying a little bit of carb cleaner around the vacuum lines and intake gaskets with the engine running. If the idle speed changes when you spray a certain area, you've likely found your leak. Just be extremely careful doing this, as carb cleaner is flammable. To check the throttle body, a visual inspection is your first step. Remove the intake tube and look inside. Is it caked with black carbon buildup? If so, that's a prime suspect. Okay, let's talk about the fix. If you found a vacuum leak, the solution is simple. Replace the cracked hose or the bad gasket. These are often inexpensive parts, but the labor can vary depending on how hard it is to get to. If the throttle body is just dirty, the fix can be as easy as cleaning it. You'll need a can of throttle body cleaner and a soft rag or brush. Make sure you use a cleaner that's safe for electronic throttle bodies. You want to clean all the carbon off the throttle plate and the bore where it sits. Be gentle, and don't force the plate open on electronic units unless you know the proper procedure, as you can damage the internal gears. After cleaning, and this is a critical step, you'll often need to perform a throttle body adaptation or relearn procedure. This tells the ECU the new closed position of the clean throttle plate. On many Volkswagens and BMWs, you can do this with a good quality scan tool. Without this step, the car might still idle high because the computer is still working off the old, dirty values. If cleaning doesn't work, or if the electronics in the throttle body are fried, you'll need to replace the entire unit. This is more expensive, but it's a guaranteed fix for a faulty throttle body. After replacement, you will absolutely need to perform that throttle adaptation. So, to recap, P0507 means high idle. It's usually a vacuum leak or a dirty throttle body. diagnose with a smoke test and visual inspection, fix by repairing the leak or cleaning on readapting or replacing the throttle body. Dealing with this code can save you a ton on gas and make your car much more pleasant to drive. I hope this breakdown helps you tackle that P0507 code with confidence. If you found this video useful, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into car trouble codes. Drop a comment below if you've ever fought this code and won. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.